dear students. Today we have discussed the important topics regarding to chapter nuclei, and also we have already discussed the important topics for semiconductor devices and for the atoms. So I think you have understood all what are the important topics and what you have to study there. You have to solve numerical problems also, but still you have to understand the conceptual questions as time by time. SPSC is that is focused on the conceptual problems, concept basis problems, fundamental problems, because you always neglected them. So that's why you have to understand first of all the concepts behind it. And here one by one I'm taking the important topics and important questions that has been asked already in your examinations, and what can be asked also. I've just taken all that topics that are important. So understand, just see it, understand it, and try to make revisions on that. So today we will discuss the important topics for the chapter dual nature of radiation and matter. So for dual nature of radiation and matter, we already know that if we are talking about the radiation, then for the radiation we know the electromagnetic waves that are possessing wave nature. Clearly you know already that things with the help of, because you have studied the concept of electromagnetic waves, you have studied ray optics, wave optics, and in that case we have seen that Huygens proposed a theory for the wave nature of light, and also you know that light is electromagnetic wave, and so this is applicable for all waves. And means that waves are or radiations that are possessing wave nature, and for that, with the help of that wave nature, we have described successfully so many phenomena of electromagnetic waves like reflection, refraction, diffraction, interference, polarization. So a lot of phenomena we have explained successfully. But when Hertz was doing an experiment while studying the radiation or electromagnetic radiation with the help of arc lamp, he has seen that there are some changes whenever the electromagnetic wave or ultraviolet wave that is incident on the metallic plate, and there is some sudden spark that is produced in that system. So he didn't understand that time what is the reason behind it. So first of all, Hertz just has seen that effect of spark producing due to electromagnetic radiation. So later when Halbos and Leonard, they were trying to observe it, and even they have studied in details the effect of electromagnetic wave whenever it is incident on any metallic surface. And there they have observed that when electromagnetic wave that is incident on the metallic plate, then there is the emission of negatively charged particles, as that time the discovery of electron was not made, so that's they called it only negatively charged particles. And means they have seen that the effect of the production of particles with the help of wave there. So this was the new thing that we are going to understand or going to see whenever the light of suitable frequency that is fall on any surface, and there is the production of particles from that. So this was the concept that was not explained with the help of the wave theory of the electromagnetic radiation. So from there a new theory that is started, that is known as the particle concept of electromagnetic wave, and you also know that the quantum concept of the radiation from there. And later you already know that Einstein used the Planck's idea to explain it this photoelectric emission case, and he established a relation, and he explained successfully all the laws of photoelectric emission, and with the help of that a new physics that is established. And Planck's idea was that light is made up of a large number of particles, and that particles are known as photon, or one quanta, and also one photon or one quanta has energy as nu, and he told us that that energy is always in integral multiple. Obviously, if one quanta has energy as nu, then if there are two quanta in light, then this will be equal to 2 as nu. So this is the integral way we are seeing here, no fractional way of energy there in the electromagnetic radiation. This was the theory of Planck's, idea of Planck's, and that was really a revolutionary idea, as this time we are working on the quantum physics. In every field we are working actually. So this chapter is, that's why very important. Here we are going to talk about the different aspects of the radiation and matter, or both. So first of all, I think the normal concept we have already understood while we were learning the chapter. So that's why I think here I don't have to again tell you the history behind it, but still only some of the factors I will tell you, like what was the Hertz experiment that I told you, and Horvath and Lenard, that they did actually experiments for the observation of that current that is producing due to incidence of electromagnetic wave on any metallic plate, and they have seen that the current that is obtained due to that current is depending on these factors, and with the help of that they have given the laws of photoelectric emission. So first topic is that we have. So first of all, what is photoelectric emission? Here whatever we have discussed, according to that you can summarize it. So when light of suitable frequency that falls on any metallic surface, then there is the emission of electron takes place from that metallic surface, and with the help of that electrons, obviously you will get in any circuit you will get the current you do to that. So that current is known as photoelectric current. This effect is known as photoelectric emission. Means due to light radiation, if electron emission is taking place, then that is known as photoelectric emission. So here why we are saying suitable frequency, so it means already that clear to you. We are as we have studied the metal concept of here like free electrons in metal concept actually. So we know that in metals there are a large number of free electrons. It means that we are talking about the valence electron. Actually valence electron are those electrons which are in the outer orbits, which are in the valence shell, and in the case of metals it has always tendency to donate that electrons to fulfill its octant. So obviously that electrons have already tendency to leave the surface, so they are even free to move within that surface, but still they are bonded by the strong nuclear force on that, means electrostatic attraction force that is working on that. So due to that attraction force, electron is bound to move within the surface. So you can say that here a barrier is formed for the electron to move only within the surface, that cannot cross that barrier. So if suppose that any electron that have to cross that barrier to make it free, then obviously it needed some energy from the outside. So if we will provide the energy equal to that energy that binds that electrons to the nucleus, then the electron that will be free from that. So that energy that is needed to remove one electron from the metallic surface, that is known as its work function. Clear? So that's why we have said the here suitable frequency, because suppose that if we are just using the light or any electromagnetic radiation less than the energy of work function, then obviously the electron will not get sufficient energy to overcome that potential barrier, then it will not be free and we will not get any electronic emission from there. So we have to always use the electromagnetic wave of suitable frequency, so that it can provide a sufficient energy to electron to overcome that potential variance, so that it can be free from there and it can emit from that metallic surface. So this is the process of photoelectric emission. So I think guys that is clear. And we already know electronic emission we can take from in many ways, like we can take it by adding some thermal energy to that system, so that is known as thermionic emission. We can add light energy, then this is known as photoelectric emission. If we are using secondary emission processes, that like if any electron that is accelerating due to high potential and that is striking, like we have seen this in the case of X-rays, so in that case also electronic emission takes place. So there are and also we can make it due to field emission. If we are using a high field for that, then obviously that high field can provide electric energy, and due to that electronic emission can takes place. So this is the way through which we can take electronic emission from any metallic surface, but here we are only going to study about the photoelectric emission. So here we are using electromagnetic radiation for the emission of electrons. So guys, as a brief, this is clear to you what is photoelectric emission and why we are needed the light of suitable frequency for the photoelectric emission. So let's see what is the experiment of Leonard and Hallward to understand the concept of photoelectric emission. So for this experiment, there is nothing. They has taken a metallic plate, and in this metallic plate here this is suppose the cathode, this is anode, and obviously this on this cathode we have to incident the radiation. You know that if energy is added to cathode, then there is the emission of electron takes place from it, and obviously anode, it is used to attract these electrons to, and if we want to current in the outer circuit, then we have to connect it with the help of any circuitry here. So we can use here a meter for this, and also we can use voltmeter to measure the voltage here, and in outer circuit you can add some of the supply here. So for the supply, obviously supply means we are just putting some of the voltage to these anodes, so that anode can attract these emitted electrons, so circuit can be completed and in more rapid way we can get it. So for this way, if here the electron is produced, obviously electrons are negatively charged particles, so we need here positive potential. So if here you can add with the positive potential and this is negative, so that it can repel these electrons towards the anode. So this is the experimental way to observe the photoelectric emission process easily. And now let's see how can we explain the factors that is affecting the photoelectric emission. I think the whole of the circuit is not clear, so still let's see it again. This is cathode, this is anode. Here we are just using so this is our circuitry for the photoelectric emission. Here I think there is no confusion in that. So now let's see one by one what are the factors that is affecting it. So first factor that is here. So let's see what is the effect of intensity on this photoelectric emission current. So obviously here the current that is flowing or due to the emission of electrons on incidence of this light of suitable frequency. Later we will discuss it also, but still first of all let's see what is the effect of intensity. So it has been seen that whenever we are using light of different intensity, then there are the photoelectric current that is obtained in the circuit, that is also changing linearly with the intensity. Means if we are increasing intensity, then there is increase in photoelectric emission, photoelectric current, and if we are decreasing it, then there is decrease in photoelectric current. It means that simple thing, the number of emitted electrons from the metallic surface, that is dependent on the intensity of radiation. So greater will be the intensity, greater will be the number of electrons. So what is our observation here? First observation, that is the number of electrons emitted observation with experiment, we will also discuss laws of photoelectric emission. Actually, laws of photoelectric emission is nothing but it is the result of this experiment. So one by one we are talking about the effect. After that we will talk about its result, and that result is that is known as law of photoelectric emission. Clear? So effect of intensity is, I think that is clear to you. So if greater will be the intensity, greater will be the number of photoelectrons that are emitted, and greater will be the photoelectric current in the circuit. So finally we can write here number of electrons emitted, that is directly proportional to the intensity of radiation. Second factor that can affect it, that is voltage or current, or a simple effect of potential here. As we are using potential for at the anode and cathode for the greater attraction and repulsion of the electrons here. So if at the anode and electrons can be attracted to, if we are just putting here positive potential. So suppose on the incidence of electromagnetic radiation on this cathode, electrons are emitted. So if these electrons are emitted and we are putting here negative potential, first of all suppose negative potential we have just put here, then at that negative potential this anode will repel all these electrons. So no electrons will be collected at the anode and no current will be obtained in this circuit. So potential also affected the current that is flowing in this outer circuit or photoelectric current. So when we will increase the strength of this positive potential, it means that we are providing here the positive strength, the attractive strength to this anode, and finally due to that attractive strength electrons are attracted to anode, and finally this circuit is completed and photoelectric current also increases. So simple, with increase in positive potential, this there is increase in photoelectric current also. So then suppose that we are increasing positive potential and suddenly we have just decreased it to 0. So suddenly if you will decrease it to 0, then photoelectric current that will not decrease here. Reason is that some of the electrons here that has the sufficient energy that can reach here after this repulsion also or 0 potential also. Again start to give it repulsive energy. Here at 0 potential there is no biasing, there is no energy, but still some of the electrons can reach there. So we are obtaining some of the current even at 0 potential, and now we have started to provide it negative potential. Then with increase in negative potential, now the strength of repulsion here that is increased, and time by time no of the electrons that will feel to reach here, and ultimately at one time no electrons will reach here at some negative potential, and that negative potential on which no electrons is reaching to the anode, no photoelectric current is obtained, means 0 electric current is obtained, then that potential it is known as cutoff potential or stopping potential. Means stopping is why it is just there, no electron is able to reach there, means all the electrons are stopped here. And cutoff means the electricity or electric current that is obtained, that is 0 at that percent. So we can take both of the name, stopping potential or cutoff potential. So now if you are drawing the graph for them, so for here for this case this is the graph for this factor. So as we seen that with increase in potential here, the increase in G, but still with decrease in potential, obviously there is decrease in current here. So this is the graph for the potential and the current graph. And if different potential that we are using here, different types of paths that we can obtain for different intensities. So if we are using different intensity, then different obviously different current that will obtain. Greater will be the intensity, greater will be the current here. Again greater will be the intensity, greater will be current here. So but all these intensities, the stopping potential is same. Clear? So here you can use I3, I2, I1 for this. I3 is greater than I2, I2 is greater than I1. Here we have taken on this stopping potential on this anode. or we can write it Va, and here we have taken the photoelectric current. So I think as the effect of the potential on the photoelectric current, that is clear. So we can say here, at some certain negative potential, no electrons are able to reach the anode, no electrons are able to flow from cathode to anode. So there the electric field or photoelectric currents, that becomes zero. So at that potential, all the current, that is zero. So we can call that potential as the stopping and cutoff potential. So third factor that affecting the photoelectric current, that is the intensity of incident radiation. Sorry, not intensity, we have already discussed that. The frequency of incident radiation. So suppose we are using different frequencies, then what is changing here? So with change in frequency, already we have discussed that we have to use that frequency or that energy for which electron can overcome the potential barrier of the metal that in which it is. So obviously we have to always use the energy greater than the work function here, and energy of radiation, that is equal to, you know that is equal to as nu here. So if different frequencies radiation that is falling on the metallic surface, we have seen that the change in photoelectric current according to that. Reason is that if frequency is changed, it means that energy is changing, means that the electron that is gaining that energy, that is also changing. So if we are using less frequency, means less energy electromagnetic wave, then in that case that energy will be supplied to the electrons, and if it is not sufficient, no electrons will be emitted and the current here will be zero. And again, if we are using sufficient frequency, sufficient energy, then some of the electrons can be emitted. It will increase, and means here we are seeing that number of emitted photoelectrons that are not changing due to frequency, but here the energy that is changing due to frequency. So if we will supply greater energy to electron, then electron uses this energy in two ways. Later we will discuss this also in case of Einstein's relation. So electron first of all uses some of its energy equal to the work function to overcome the attraction forces of the metal. Second things that it is uses to increase its kinetic energy. So here the factor that affecting for the electronic emission, that is the intensity of radiation. If that will change, the kinetic energy of ejected photoelectrons, that will change according to it. So the kinetic energy of ejected photoelectron, that is depending on the factor, that is frequency of radiation here. So if we draw the graph for this, then the graph is just like this. This is the frequency and this is that the photoelectric current here. So we have seen that at a certain frequency, these electrons are started to emit from this metallic surface, and after that we are getting photoelectric current. Reason I have already told you that first of all, when frequency or any electromagnetic radiation that is incident on the surface, then electron takes the energy from them and it is trying to overcome first of all the potential barrier. After that, means if it will be first this energy that here we haven't seen, that is used to overcome the potential barrier, or you can say that this is equal to the work function of the metal. After that, electron is using energy to increase its kinetic energy, and due to increase in kinetic energy, more of the electrons will reach to this anode, and electric current that is increases linearly after that. So this frequency at which electrons are started to emit from the surface of the metal, that is known as threshold frequency or cutoff frequency. So below the threshold frequency or cutoff frequency, no electrons are emitted from the surface, and the photoelectric current that will be zero in the circuit. So this is the third thing that affected the photoelectric current. that is obtained in the circuit. Fourth factor on which it is dependent on, that is the photometal that we are using here. Obviously, if we will change the different metals or metallic plates that we are using, so we know that every metallic plates has different work function. If size of the metal that is increasing, then definitely its work function that is decreasing, because the electrostatic attraction force between nucleus and between electrons, that is decreasing with increasing distance, because there is inverse relationship between them. So obviously, if size is increasing, then electrostatic attraction is decreasing. It means that electron needed less energy to overcome the potential barrier there. So work function also decreasing with increasing size of the atom. So in this way, if we are using different metals for the photoelectric emission, then different work functions will be there. Means for some of the metals we will get photoelectric emissions at less frequency, or for some of the metal we are needed the greater frequency. Means for different types of metals we are needed always different types of electromagnetic waves. So the types of electromagnetic waves that we are using for the electromagnetic radiation, that is depending on the photometals that we are using. Suppose that if we are using any metal that is needed energy equal to energy of ultraviolet radiation. So for that the ultraviolet radiation that is more suitable than anyone or any other wave that has the greater frequency than the ultraviolet radiation, that can be used there also. But the waves that has less frequency than ultraviolet radiation we cannot use there. So you have already data for the 7 electromagnetic waves. So with the help of it you can compare even this, and questions can be asked based on these factors also. So here finally we have seen 4 factors that are affecting the photoelectric current here. In summarized way, if you will write it, then we can obtain law of photoelectric emission. So first law of photoelectric emission is for the intensity that we have discussed, that is number of ejected photoelectrons that are depending on the intensity of radiation. So there is a linear relationship between intensity of radiation and number of photoelectrons that is ejected from the metal surface. This is first law of photoelectric emission. Second law of photoelectric emission is that the kinetic energy of ejected photoelectrons, that is depending on depending on the frequency of radiation that we are using. It is not dependent on the intensity of radiation. So this is the second law of photoelectric emission. Third law of photoelectric emission is that at some certain negative potential, no electrons are able to reach to the anode and no photoelectric current is observed. So that potential is known as cutoff potential or stopping potential. So cutoff or stopping potential, this is also directly proportional to the frequency of incident radiation. Because if we will apply greater frequency, then greater kinetic energy will have the electron. Then obviously if electrons will have greater kinetic energy, then they will obviously they can overcome the repulsive potential and they can reach to that anode surface. Last factor is that there is no time lag in the incidence of radiation and the emission of electrons. Means at the time when radiation will incident on the metallic surface, at that time electrons will be ejected there. Means this is the simultaneous effect. There is no time lag between these two processes. So these are the summarized law of photoelectric emission. So I think guys that is clear. If question is asked, then define the experimental observations for the photoelectric emission or write the experimental study. So first of all you have to use this circuit, and with the help of that explain all the effects of the all the factors that are affecting photoelectric current. That is the experimental study, and law of photoelectric emission is the result of that experiment, so you can understand easily. So in next class we will discuss the reason for the failure of classical wave theory for the explanation of photoelectric emission, and also what is the Einstein's photoelectric emission and what is importance of this, and how we can explain photoelectric emission with the help of Einstein's relationship. We will discuss all these things in next class. So today let's end the class here. In next class we will discuss these things. Thank you guys.